and welcome to the Pekin First podcast. My name is Josh, and I get the absolute pleasure of serving as the online ministries director right here at Pekin First.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sean. I'm the pastor here at Pekin First.
All right, and welcome to the Pekin First podcast. This is episode 64, and it is called Trapped by Our No. And we're going to go through the things that we miss because we're so afraid to say yes. We start every episode off with a this week's personal best. And since you weren't here last week, Debbie took your place. I'm going to let you go first.
No. All right, there we go. Yeah. Now let's see. Yes, I will. I think I'm going to talk about Saturday. Saturday was, and because Debbie was here last week, just a reminder of last week's podcast. It was all about Open Table, and Saturday was Open Table, and it was wonderful. It was a really good back to it again for the first of the year. We had a good turnout. A lot of folks were blessed by it. Had lots of volunteers here that were blessed by being able to serve, and it was just a good day all the way around. I'm looking forward to the upcoming Open Tables and more opportunities to really be the church to the folks in our community who really need it the most.
And that is a great way to say yes, is to volunteer for that. I've seen a lot of pictures. I didn't get a chance to make it, but I've seen some pictures. We have those posted on Facebook. Gina did put those up on our Facebook page. And there's a lot of volunteers there that I don't feel were... maybe not a lot, but there was a few volunteers there that I don't feel had volunteered in the past.
Right. Yeah. So, I think we had some new faces for sure.
Good. Awesome. My personal best happened on Sunday morning. So as I pulled into the lot Sunday morning, and I get here about 7 a.m. on Sunday morning, there was a car sitting in the lot that is not usually there at 7. And that would be a young lady by the name of Armin. And she had mistakenly not set one of her clocks back, or one of them was moving too fast, and she got here super early. And usually between 7 and 8 o'clock, I'm running around either with a chicken with my head cut off, either prepping stuff for the week or prepping for service, or there's always something, right? And I got the unique opportunity to sit down and slow down and talk to Armin.
Yeah.
And it brought a peace to me, just having a conversation with her. And honestly, I don't, we talked a little church history and stuff like that, but for the most part, it was just daily life stuff. Right. And it brought me ease.
Right.
And I really enjoyed that. And I'm just glad that happened. God puts people in a certain spot in your life at a certain time for a reason. And that was much needed, just to slow down and go, that's what it's all about.
Right. And you said a young woman, and she's probably all of 92 young, maybe. Yeah. Special lady.
Yeah. And very much a yes type lady.
Absolutely.
100%.
Yeah.
All right. This is episode 64 again, Trapped by Our No. So I didn't write a synopsis for this one because I really got into this is happening in my personal life as we speak, and that's where a lot of the podcasts come from, is the things that I'm going through, or I see people struggling with, or maybe not even struggling with, but enjoying, or whatever in my personal life. That's where a lot of these come from, because if I'm going through something like this, or somebody I know is going through something like this, that means there's more of us out there, right? Yeah. There's a lot of similarity among everybody. So this is where we are, where God puts opportunity in front of us. We are so afraid to say yes because there's a risk involved. There's a financial risk involved. There's you name it. Why are we coming up with excuses? And I see this in my kids. I see this in me. There's always a reason why not to, right? Yeah. Let's talk about where we miss the yes. Where do we miss those yeses? And in my current situation, God has shown me a couple things, and he's put them right there. He's like, put them on the tee in front of me. But there's things that come with that. There's risk.
Yeah.
There's the chance of not missing a financial goal, or you know what I mean. There's a financial aspect that goes with that, and God is telling me, don't worry about. I've got you on the finances.
Yeah.
Take the chance, and I just can't pull the trigger because I don't know why.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. We see it all around us, I think, in so many different areas. You can see it in politics. You can see it in religion. You know, you can see it everywhere. There's all of the components that go into making us feel like we have it, you know, have what we need in life, whether it's the bank account or whether it's the social circle that we run in that could be compromised if we said yes to God, our position in our workplace, whatever it might be. Almost always, when God puts something in front of us, there is some risk involved in saying yes to that. You know, Jesus just doesn't make it easy for us. You know, sometimes there's that wonderful thing that happens and you just go, wow, that was a huge blessing and it didn't really cost me anything. But for the most part, you know, when Jesus says things like, you know, if you want to be my disciple, you're going to have to deny yourself and take up your cross and follow me. You know, you pretty much need to be prepared for the fact that it's going to be painful and there's going to be some consequences involved that, you know, maybe you just don't want to have to deal with. But if you do say yes, and that's, I know where you're going with this, so I'm not going to jump ahead. But when we do say yes,
yeah,
yeah.
It seems to work itself out. Let's talk about the high school crush, right? We all had a high school crush, and you know, the girl, for us guys, the girl that always seemed like she was, I'll say, too much, or we were not enough, right? And God would put, or circumstance would put this girl in your path. And were you brave enough? Were you brave enough to say, ask the girl out, or even say hi? Right? I was one of those guys. Like I was the nod guy. Right? Yep. Yeah. Right. Because I was too afraid of what was going to come out of my mouth.
Sure.
Yeah. So there's where we miss the yes. You don't know until you ask. And I just said that the other day. I was in a business meeting, and I said, you know, I got to ask, and I asked a really complicated, risky question. And I said, you just, you know, you don't know until you ask.
That's right. Yeah.
Right. The callings that we've missed on the yes. So, again, God will set things up. He's set several things up in my life that I have not said yes to. Simple fact is, if fear is real. Fear is, surrounds us all the way around, and getting through that fear is trusting God. And in our calling, God puts a calling on all of us. What is your calling? We're here for a reason. That whatever talent that is, whatever reason, and maybe it's not even a talent. Maybe it's just to be in somebody's life. And, you know, I love motivational speaking. And I'm not good at it. I love motivational speaking. I'm learning how to speak publicly. When I ran for office, I kind of took a crash course in public speaking, and saying yes to, I see all these advertisements and these classes that come up, or these opportunities that come up, but I refuse. I should say, I don't refuse. I'm too afraid to say yes because of what might happen on the other side. So what is God calling you to do that you're saying no to that you're missing the yes? Our no often feels safe, responsible, logical, and it can quietly trap us.
Yeah. You got a couple of good biblical examples in there too, don't you, to emphasize this?
I do. The scripture tie-in is Proverbs 3:5-6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make straight your paths. Sorry. I also the Luke 9:57-62, and it's the cost of following Jesus, where Jesus. And you have to, I read it and it didn't, I don't know if it didn't stick or it didn't, I don't know. But it was always, Jesus calls somebody and they said they would follow him, but first I have to
Right. ... Right. Right. Yeah. The excuse,
The excuse.
it's kind of a yes, but it's not really a yes. It's a yes, but, and that's sometimes even worse than a no. I mean, if we say no, at least we have shut the door on that. A yes, but is I'm considering it. It might be a possibility, but there's some other things that I need to do first. And anytime we put the but in there, you're leading yourself to a place where ultimately it's going to be a no. The yes is not really a true yes. So a full yes is, tonight we're going to study this in our Bible study. So I'm going to give it away. Anybody, but they're not going to hear this but before tonight anyhow. So we're looking at Luke 8 tonight, the end of Luke 8, which is two stories. Oh. One of Jesus on his way to a man named Jairus' house to heal his daughter. His daughter is sick, and he needs him to come to his house to heal her. On his way, he's interrupted by a woman who has an issue of blood who has been suffering for 12 years, and she touches the hem of his garment. Maybe people know this story. But both of them have to say yes at one point. I mean, she has to say, I'm going to risk the social isolation. I'm going to risk people getting mad at me. I'm actually going to interrupt Jesus and try to get this done for myself. She's taking that risk and that plunge. And then the next episode is a servant comes and says to Jairus, your daughter has died. Don't trouble the master anymore. And Jesus looks at him and he says, don't fear, believe. Don't fear, believe. Your daughter is not dead. And in that moment, can you imagine what this guy had to deal with? His daughter, he's told his daughter is dead. There's no question about it. She's dead. And Jesus says, she's not dead. Don't fear, just believe. And in that moment, he has to either say, "Forget this, I'm out of here." Plus, I'm a rich guy. I'm a leader in the Jewish faith. I have risked coming to you to heal my daughter, and now you've taken time and spent with this poor woman, this woman who should be shunned from society. And you can imagine the anger and the frustration and everything that he probably felt. But he doesn't do that. He says, "All right, I'm going to trust you. And come to my house." And next thing we know, Jesus heals the little girl and she's up. I mean, that's it. The times where we have to say yes sometimes are the most difficult moments. They're the moments that don't make any sense whatsoever. But when we say yes, miracles happen.
Absolutely. And as you were talking about that, I was trying to picture that in my head. And you've got kids, and I've got kids. I've got a lot of girls, and having to trust somebody to know that they said it's going to be okay, and having to trust that's the ultimate trust is with your children.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's ultimate faith. That's ultimate trust. And here I'm talking about a financial trust, or it's emotional at the same time, but it's a financial trust, which is nothing compared to that story you just referred to. And it makes you think, people trust, you trust you're going in for surgery. You trust the doctor, that the surgeon knows what he's doing. You trust the bigger things that you trust God with. These are some pretty big things, and the minimal things that you say no to.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You should just blow by those.
Right.
And just things like what I'm kind of dealing with. But we fear failure. We fear change. We fear change. Change is a big one.
Yeah.
And I think I told this a couple weeks ago. I noticed that people just in the faith community here at Pekin First, you can tell the people that really trust God, and I'm talking, we'll call them older, or kind of like Armin, but you can tell that they trust God, because when change happens, and I'm 47 and I don't deal with change well, right? I can't imagine what I'm going to be like when I'm 60 or 70. what am I going to deal with like change then? But they deal with change in a totally different way, right? It's just, it's God doing his thing.
Right.
Right. It's the fear of what others will think. That's a big one.
Sure.
And then comfort and control. Control being a big one. You got to let God is in control no matter what, and you got to trust that God will do what God does.
Yeah.
How our no becomes a trap is if I say no because I know nothing will change. There's the change again. But in the reality, our faith stagnates when we do that. Just growth in faith. Let's talk a little bit about growth in faith. Growth in faith is saying yes to being a part of serving the community, and that's what Jesus tells us to do: is serve the hungry, serve the poor. Serving the community helps you grow in your faith, and saying yes to serving is a huge way to grow in faith. You were talking about Bible study earlier. Saying yes to going into a Bible study, I know, and it still happens to me today, maybe not as much, but if I'm going to go into a Bible study or even a meeting here at the church, getting out of your car and walking across the parking lot is the hardest thing you'll ever do in that, right? Because it's easy once you get in the door.
Right.
It's 100% easy. It's taking the step to get in the door.
Yeah, that's a really important metaphor there, to take those steps. And that's why I think the proverb that you read is really important. That when we trust in the Lord with all our heart, that he's going to guide our path, right? He's going to lead us, that we can trust that he's going to send us and guide us where we need to go. We're going to be okay.
Right. So let's talk about when God invites us to say yes, how we should see that God is inviting us to say yes, because you got to open up to hear God's word, to see the signs, to listen for God. It just like when I took the director of online ministries, I fought that, man. I fought that big time, because I'm like, that's not for me. I don't have enough experience. I think is what I told Jim. I don't have enough experience. I've not grown enough in my faith to do this. And he said, I beg to differ. And we went through some motions, and then all of a sudden it was one sleepless night, which I do a lot, but one sleepless night, it was nice outside, and I was sitting out back, and the just the thoughts that were coming into my head, that's God talking to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was a phone call the next morning. Yep, let's do it. And here I am 3.5 years later.
Yeah.
God, yes, always, when God says yes to us, it always leads to growth, not comfort. Those are two totally different things, right? It leads to growth, not comfort. It leads to trust, not certainty. There's no certain on the outcome. And I talked about that 2 weeks ago, saying yes, even though, right? Even though it's not going to go the way, or maybe we talked about that 3 weeks ago, but saying yes, even though it might not go the way you want it to.
That's right. Yeah.
But it's trust and movement, not stagnation. It's growth in your faith. It's movement in your faith. It's moving the needle in the community, for example, and volunteering with the hungry and the poor, and the helping people find God.
Yeah.
So saying yes is always going to be harder, and that's how you know it's the right yes.
Yeah.
That's how you know.
That's how you know.
All right. And saying yes here at Pekin First is so easy with some of the events we got coming up.
Yeah.
We've got the bicentennials happening. We've got some exciting stuff happening. Keep an eye out. We've got a special thing with the city coming. We've got the homecoming coming in April. We've got a block party coming in July, and we've got a big celebration coming in October as well. Just all kinds of things going on. Bible study. There's so much going on.
Yeah, and we're heading into the Lenten season. Next Wednesday, a week from today, we will have our Ash Wednesday service combined with Grace United Methodist Church here in town at 6:30 across town, and then we're into the Lenten season, and we'll be doing some studies. We'll have our Lenten lunches. We'll have all sorts of things that you can say yes to getting involved in. Maybe that's the first baby step, is just saying, I've been thinking about going to church. I've been thinking about getting involved in something. I listen to this podcast, often, and today's the day that the Spirit's just nudging you to say, today you got to take that step of faith. And maybe you come to a Lenten lunch. That'll be an easy step in and not non-threatening, or maybe you decide you're going to come to worship this weekend with us. Whatever the case may be, we want you to say yes to the Lord, and know that as you do that, things are gonna just go in a direction that you've never ever imagined. They're going to be good, always be good.
So the next Throwback Thursday. So this podcast will air Thursday. This podcast will air the 12th. The podcast, the Throwback Thursday after that, there's a very special Throwback Thursday, and it will. Pekin First was a part of a series, kind of like we're doing. So I'm going to do that on a Throwback Thursday. That'll be the week of the 18th or something like that. So,
All right.
So look forward to that. Check out the Throwback Thursdays on Facebook or on our website as well, just to see some cool things that went on here at Pekin First.
So much exciting things
So
happening.
much exciting. And just know that today I failed. Today I failed, and here's why I failed is I work out every morning at 4 a.m. Not every morning. I work out 4 mornings a week at 4 a.m. And this morning, I couldn't get the motivation to go. And maybe today you failed in some small way, but know that tomorrow you get another shot at it, right? You get another shot at it. God is going to give you the motivation to get up in the morning. And so if you slightly failed today, and I guarantee it's always a slight fail, just know that tomorrow's a better day, no matter what.
It's a good word.
Good word. All right, remember, God put us here to do great things. So let's go do great things.